I'm Greg Wertenberger with the Arkansas SPDIG, the system specialist with our project.
Okay. And I'm Angie Osborne.
Good
I'm with
morning. My name is Rondalyn Pinckney. You go ahead.
I'm Angie Osborne. I'm with Ohio's SPDIG group for MTSS.
Good morning. My name is Rondalyn Pinckney, and I'm with the Georgia SPDIG grant. I'm a program specialist, and we support districts with implementing MTSS. Welcome. Good morning.
Hey, Stacy. Hi, Becky. We're just doing some quick introductions, just name and state. Since it looks like we've got a small group, we can make it a little more personal.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy and I'm from New York. Oh, yeah. And I just realized that my background is inverted. Let me see if I can switch that.
It's not inverted what I see, Stacy. I see like it the right way.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's just your view's inverted. So you're just backwards on your own view.
Is this better? Okay. I feel like I need to have this is where I am in my head. Okay.
That's always better, but I love New York. So
Okay. I'm currently in Denver attending another conference, so I'm stealing time to be with you guys today.
Okay. So anyone else that'd like to share their name and state before we get started?
Hi, I'm Becky and I'm from Minnesota.
Hi, Becky. Good to see you here.
Thank you.
Okay, since we're a small group, I've got a quick overview that I can run through. And we asked Sydney to join us here today so that you could hear from a SPDIG grantee who used shorthand and her experience. We thought that would be a little more useful than me just talking at you the whole time. But before we get started, I wanted to check in to see if anyone had any specific ideas about how they'd like to use shorthand or specific questions or concerns about it.
Kelsey, I'm brand new to shorthand, so this is like my first encounter with it. So I'm pretty open to learning and then like reflecting afterwards about the best way to use it.
Okay.
Same for me.
All right, love it. And Stacy says she's also brand new to shorthand. Okay, then I'm going to give a quick overview. Let's see, there we go. So here's the the back end when you first log into shorthand. And after this, if anyone would like a shorthand login and they're not set up with one yet, just feel free to email me at signetwork@uoregon.edu and I can get you set up. It's really easy. You just type in your email and a password and you'll be all set. So shorthand is a tool that's available for all SPDIG grantees. And it's pretty much just a tool that allows you to make information visually compelling. So it doesn't really generate a document. There's not like a PDF or a doc. Rather, it's almost like a mini website. So you're going to generate a link with all your information that you can then share with your stakeholders or anyone that you'd like to share that with. And today I'm going to use this little FAQ that I built in shorthand. I built this when I first started using it last October. We first got this program. And I've learned a lot since then. And I think I would do things a little bit differently now that I've gone through a little bit of time with it. So I kind of wanted to share what I've learned over the past few months with it. What I'll focus on is a few tips and tricks I learned about accessibility. Because I think that that's something that I didn't really know at first and it would have been useful for me. But if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to jump in on your mic, on chat, whatever is most useful. I want to share info that's good for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is this embedding content. I was excited about this when we first got Shorthand. I thought it was cool because you can pretty much embed so many different things. There's Google Slides here, and they're like interactive. Here's another Shorthand story I could put in there. You can use Padlet, SoundCloud, YouTube, Infogram, all of these different things. And if I were to click into here, go on to the back end of this story. Let's find an image I can use here. If I click on that image, there's a rich text embed button where you can share a link for all of these things. So that can be really useful. But a word of caution that I learned later is that not all of that content is accessible. So Shorthand can be plenty accessible. However, it really depends on your initial source of information when you're initially just taking custom code and putting it into the program. So I like to veer now towards simpler is better. But if you know that information is accessible, it's absolutely a tool that is available that you can use for you. Another thing that I started diving into when I first started working with Shorthand is alt text, which is also super easy to add here. Let's say we've got an image. It'll prompt you to add a caption if you'd like, and then some alt text. So consider being pretty short and precise with your alt text, 10 to 15 words. This is a quote that I found because I reached out to one of our researchers who uses a screen reader, and I wanted to hear about her experience depending on a screen reader and going through different websites. And she said the thing that is most frustrating for her is when people describe every little aspect of a website, not just the facts you need to know that you would skim when looking through a website. So you don't need to add link, visited link, combination box, navigation bar. But if you have text over an image, you should be putting some alt text that reads what that text is so that people know what the heading is or the title, things like that. And there's just a couple quick tools that you can use to double check accessibility. This is not a catch-all by any means, but it will flag some things for you if you've missed some small things when building a story. So if you're using Google Chrome, you can use this Lighthouse tool. And I've gone ahead and added screenshots because I don't know, once I start clicking into these windows, I don't think Zoom will share them with you. But what you do is click the three dots at the top corner of your screen, click that More Tools, Developer Tools, and I'll send you this quick how-to after this as well. But you'll just go ahead and select Lighthouse and Accessibility Report. And what that does is it'll generate a score, and then it'll kind of flag anything that's standing out to it about things that might not be accessible. So in this case, I ran, and it said background and foreground colors do not have sufficient contrast. So that's something I could easily fix that it flagged for me. And I like to share this because this is also just a tool that's available on Google Chrome for anything you can pull up on Chrome. So if you ever want to use it for Shorthand or otherwise, it's always there for you. And the other thing is that Shorthand also has its own accessibility checklist. So you're going to check that once you're in a story, click that question mark, type accessibility checklist, and it will go down and show you a few things to look for in your story. In general, if you use a template and just add in the headings, it will be made accessible for you. So these headings are linked as headings, much like a Word document. It's when you start to really dig in and do all the custom stuff is that you have to be a little more aware and cautious. We use Shorthand for our monthly newsletters, which I can, so I've got too many windows open. So you can see we've got a lot going on here with newsletters. We just find it to be a useful way to click and drag and drop information So it's a speedy way to make things look nice and quickly generate a link and send it out to the SIG network. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. We thought it'd be useful for you to see a SPDIG grantee as well, talk about their experience with it. So I'm going to turn things over to Sydney.
Hey, thank you, Kelsey. I know you do a lot of work on the back end helping get these accounts up and running, and so we appreciate you. So let me tell you about where I'm coming from. So I currently am at the Utah State Board of Education, but right now I'm in San Francisco at another conference as well, Stacy. So stealing time from the Golden Gate Bridge sunrise. I was like, well, but I'm so happy to be with you. So my experience with Shorthand is, again, very short, right? Like, so that when they started it last October, they wanted a few people to kind of play with it. And so I was willing to do that. I'm not like really great with technology, but I'm not terrible. It's kind of like, just like if you're learning PowerPoint, it's very intuitive. It's not like PowerPoint, but it's similar to learning a pretty easy program. It doesn't take coding. Like, you know, I know some of those words were like, oh, I'm not going to do that one. I have not embedded videos yet, but I do see how you could. And I think if I had time to play with something, that would be something I'd be interested in learning how to do. And I could easily do, like within an evening, you know, if I was really, really gung-ho on this great video clip. I can see it used in many ways. And so I'm going to kind of share that with you. Kelsey was talking, I put a couple links in the chat. So I put in like just the shorthand link. So for all those who have an open shorthand, that last link is just a shorthand.com. So if you'll just grab that, if you want to open it, if you have a second screen, just so you can kind of see what Kelsey was showing you, as well as I put in her story. And then I just put in the facts and questions and a preview. So like they have a little preview. One thing, anyway, so that's kind of where we're coming from. I am going to ask a couple questions. So I don't know about y'all, but here, like ADA is like a thing. Like we have to have all of our presentation documents at 508 right now. How many of you guys are working with that? Okay. All right. So when I refer to it, it's because I don't know, they've been a big thing about it. But sometimes I think if you go to other conferences, they'll have they require it as well, right? Like if you're presenting somewhere else, they want it ADA compliant. And so I think that's something to be aware of when you're using this program, but very doable. But anything that's ADA, I'm always like, well, let's just make it nice and clean and simple, because that's really hard to convert. So that's kind of my experience with that. So I will be hitting on that as well, with like Kelsey did, but it's just because it's been such a big hot topic, and it's a hot topic when you go to present at conferences as well right now. So at least in my experience. Have you guys had that? Okay. I see. All right. Yeah, y'all are gonna have to unmic for me when because so please feel comfortable. Like if jump in, I'm not somebody that like I need your feedback. It will help me help you, if that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I just have like a really short couple slides to go over some details. Oh, so you have Shorthand organized by your state teams, huh, Greg? That's awesome. Do you use it then that way, Greg? Oh, no, it's Kelsey.
That was Kelsey's response to a question that I asked. So
I thought you
yeah,
were like already doing
no,
it.
no. I'm a novice. I am about 12 minutes into my knowledge of shorthand. So
yeah, I'm about a half hour. So like we're not too far behind each other. But that's kind of what I didn't even change it. So what I did is I really took maybe 2 or 3 days. I mean, and then you tried to like fix the like whatever the presentation was, but the learning curve was very quick for me. And that's why I was like, no, really, I'm very novice compared to what you could do. So let me just share a little bit with you. All right. All right, what do you guys see? Do you see like a slide? Oh, lovely.
yep.
All right, so I'm just going to just share a little bit with you. So there's a couple things that I think when somebody says, what does shorthand do? What's the advantage of learning that? I think it does an excellent job of telling your story. And I know that's kind of the theme the last couple of years, but this program really kind of does that in a quick, clean, easy way if you want it to. So I wanted it to, and I imagine And so it does that, like that scrolling, like Kelsey was showing you, and I'll show you that. It's pretty easy. It's very clean. So I like that too. It kind of creates an engaging presentation because you are able to add those clips. And so like know your audience, if you're doing something with that type of audience who will need that multimedia, like 3-minute clips, or even if you're teaching behavior and you need like a 3-minute clip, this would be an excellent program, probably easier than PowerPoint to embed those videos. When I was playing around with that, I was like, oh, I know if I was doing this, I could do this. Oops, what was the last one? Oh, there's a great state, and Kelsey, I know that you were talking about it, but there's a great state they did with their newsletters, like kind of like to their teams. So like to all of their LEAs that are working on their grant, they send their like SPDIG newsletters out through this, very similar to what Kelsey does for us. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And I was like, oh, that's something I could expand on. You could do it like for websites if you're able to access that. Anyway, just some quick and easy ways. So again, here's kind of like my pros and cons. So I thought it was easy to use, it's intuitive. Some of the strengths are the way it uses images and media to support your presentation. Now here's kind of the techie talk. So it does like image editors. So like you can put a picture in and then you can change the color or the background or highlight a part or zoom into a part. It does do text over media. So I'll show you that, like if you have a picture, then text can scroll over it. Embedding videos, text effects, background options. They do this thing called reveal images. Again, very similar, like if you think of a black and white picture and then the color comes on slowly, so you reveal the image. Or if like you want to focus on the person in the middle, then it like reveals that way. There's this thing called scrollmation. I'll show you that a little bit. And then there's just various transition effects, which I didn't really play with, but they're cool when you like watch the tutorial. What I worked with is I did these templates, kind of like a PowerPoint template, if you will, that you can easily just plug in. And so I was like a plug and play when I created this last year, because just like you, my experience was very limited. So, oh, this is a great one. So nowadays, you know how like presentations can be on different devices and sometimes like the whole screen shows or just part of it shows, or if you're on your phone, you can't really find, so this helps eliminate that problem. So it takes this presentation and you can make it particular for the devices. So like if you have a big picture, it might show on this screen, but then you also see what it shows on the phone, like if you want the picture cropped. Or so I thought that's something I haven't seen in a program, like PDFs we know are going to look the same, that type of thing. But this takes a whole presentation and puts it into that. So I thought that was, if you are presenting with people who are going to be on like phones or tablets and different devices, this would be a great opportunity for you to play with this. It also can be collaborative. So you can have multiple people working on the same project. You can share it really easy. It's really just a link, like I just shared that link from Kelsey's. So very easy to share and to collaborate, so you have multiple people on it. So I think that, I thought that was a great feature as well. So again, my considerations, things I would do better on, is because I know better, do better. Like I'd watched that 508, and when we look at the presentation that I did, I'm going to show you like, oh, this is wrong. Watch your text over media for text contrast. Some of the positive things is when you insert images, it actually prompts you to insert a caption and it prompts you for alternative text. And it prompts you to give like references to the pictures. So I like that as well. So because I was always aware of like copyright violations, but Shorthand has these images, like they're called Unsplash integration. So Unsplash is just a place where you can get pictures or images, and it's a pretty good library. And so I actually would steal this link that she just threw in the chat and just put it for anything, because they're pictures you can use for any of your presentations. So it's pretty decent. I also can use icons from Noun Project. I don't know if you've ever gone to nounproject.com. It could be .org, but that might be something you can get little icons for. And so you can embed those and put those easily into these projects as well. All right, here's my vulnerability. I'm going to show you my presentation with the caveat of, it was my 20-minute learning curve here. All right, I think I need to stop sharing. Well, maybe let's see if it goes to the next one and we'll start. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and then turn on the presentation to share. Any questions so far?
Cindy,
Oh, well, yeah.
share again that resource for the icons.
Oh, Noun Project. But I don't know if it's a .org or a .gov, like you'll have to play with that, but you'll see it's like an icon library. It's fantastic. Like if you're working with websites or you just want to like show little pictures, it's the best icon library I found that's public.
Thank you.
I recommend playing with it if you have to do any of that. All right, let me try sharing screen here. Any other questions? Okay, now this is the part like I was, what do you guys see now? Do you see like just a slide?
Yes.
Yeah, we see your celebrate the lessons learned.
Okay, so is it scrolling or is it just on a slide?
It's scrolling.
Okay.
It's scrolling.
Like it's not highlighted red, so it's driving me crazy because I can't tell if it's like shared screen. Okay, so the scrolling part is important because it's different than PowerPoint. It's like not a clicker, right? Or I mean, and so I'm literally using my mouse and scrolling to go down, but I control that speed. And so that's something to consider as well, where you're at, what type of mouse you use, your dexterity, you have like something you can put the mouse on. It's not something you could have somebody else do it, but it's more difficult because it's a scroll, not a click. Let's do the know better, do better. Right off the bat, what do you see that's wrong? I'm going to say wrong because I'm kind of like reviewing the slide, right? What's wrong with the slide? I'm Mike friends because we're only like 6 of us. We're friends now. The text is over the picture. Like right away, that bugs me, right? And so, oops. There we go. Okay, so the text is over the picture. But I do like how vivid the picture is and how big it is. So that's kind of different than within PowerPoint as well. It's very clear imaging when you put it on there. This is a picture that I was able to take off the internet with no copyright, as well as this picture. So it's very clear, right? Like, I don't know how it looks on your side. And then here's something where you can, this was just a feature, see how you can scroll up over it? So pretty interactive, but I'm scrolling this up. But again, now with the ADA things, I think I would have to make this less opaque and maybe the font bigger, but I'm not sure. I didn't check the accessibility because I didn't know how. But those would be things I would need to ask like an expert on. But I do like the way it gets your attention, right? So the first thing you see is, oh, okay. And then you're like, don't get caught up in the weeds. If I was really good, I could make these move or zoom in, but I didn't think that was applicable to the presentation. This is actually just a picture I took outside, so pretty seamless, like with putting them in and out, like that's just in my garden outside. So you can kind of see how you can embed pictures from all different types or different websites, and they're very clear and easy. So these are just the transition, how it rolls, kind of like a PowerPoint transition. And so you can kind of see how easy that is. Now, this is the part that I think is definitely like ADA compliant and very easy to read, right? A picture by the side, and then you put text in here. And this is a template. It's not like I had to design this. I just said, put your picture here, put your text here, and scroll. So I think that that was something that's useful. And so you can kind of see, and then like, again, it just tells you put picture here. So you just put a picture where it says to do the breaks. One thing that I think Shorthand does really well, different than PowerPoint, at least for me, is I don't know, many of you, as we do our PowerPoint, sometimes we put too much words or information on them. And so it makes you really focus on what is important to your discussion. What are you going to really share? I tend not to read when I did the Shorthand presentations. Like, I don't really read what I put on there, which is great. Like, you shouldn't really read your slides, right? Because it's just an easier method, I think, for other people to check it out. So like if I was presenting, I wouldn't even read all this text. Now here's some things that are weird. See how this picture changes? See how it's like a weed, like a tumbleweed, right? And now it changes again. That's on a scroll. So you can set up how fast the pictures change, why there's words next to it. Also though, I was like, when I was redoing, I was like, it's kind of distracting. I'm gonna show you some I think are kind of annoying I wouldn't do again. But I love like the big text, the big font. I even like the transition when you scroll up. Again, I'd make sure this is ADA because over a picture, but I think where it's just a title, I'm okay. And it's kind of the same thing. It gives you the layout. Where do you want it? How do you want to move it? And then you see those flips. These flips are like really little. And so I would probably make those flips. I think they're fast. But if you were talking for 5 minutes about this topic, and then I wanted to stay the text on for everybody else to still be reading it, I could go on to the next image. So I can see a very good use for that, for the fast flip. So you kind of just like, it makes a pretty clean presentation. Again, here, watch this picture, it's gonna flip too fast. So if you saw this team thing and then just one barely scroll, it flipped. So those are just kind of some of the great things, but you just need to know or practice with it. And so you can kind of see how the content can be used. So again, these are just images that like of our, I don't know if you guys use it, I call it high quality professional development checklist, the guide planning. So you can put images in them from documents. If I was really good, you could embed Canvas to come up into it. And that's kind of what a nice, short, easy presentation worked out for me. Again, very visual, which is different, I think, than PowerPoint or some of maybe the other presentation things that we use, because the pictures do highlight it. So, I mean, I think that's part of that storytelling part. And that really is it. That's kind of how it looks like. It doesn't come in slides. It just kind of comes in these screens that scroll. Any comments, questions? Like, can you see how this might work in your state? Yeah, Stacy.
So, question, can this be automated? So for example, when we first started, we can use it for website and things like that. So if I wanted to use it to sort of like showcase a conference on, say, social media, and I create the visuals in here, can it be automated, and can you add like music to it?
Okay, yes on the music. Yes on music. Yes on video clips. Would you just throw it? I think so. It has a lot of connections with different media accounts. Do I know how to do that? No, but I definitely think that you could find, like, I actually would just even Google that right now. If I was talking to you and I was listening to you, I'd be like Googling that, because my guess is it's something that you're used to post media. So that's why I think it might be able to be automated for a scroll, but I'm not sure. Kelsey, do you know?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by automated, but it does, it will auto up. So if you make a change,
Like,
that will
will it
automatically
play?
in that link be changed. Does that make sense?
So for automated, so for example, like, so to create the content here, but it becomes a video. So for example, we're putting on a MTSS conference, and if I wanted to use this for marketing, where I would then put this up on social media, it would be just a video scroll where like everything that Sydney just showed us would sort of be, like you wouldn't need to be there like manually doing stuff. It would just happen.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. That's a great question. I'm actually not sure.
Kelsey's friends with the people now, though, so she could just text them or email them for you. But I mean, I think I see what you're saying, though. I like, you just want to like, you just put it on and have it play. I don't know if it's made to. I kind of feel like it might be, but I'm not positive. So I think
like with PowerPoint sometimes, and you can set up the presentation where it just automatically goes to the presentation for you. So I was wondering if we could do that there, but I can Google it, and I can talk to Kelsey later.
Yeah, and it would be great to know, actually, Stacey. So if you do find that answer, like it would be interesting to know. So shoot it back to Kelsey, and she can maybe let everybody know, just because that's a great idea to post it. Like, does it make a little Twitter, like little clip? Yeah. I know you can definitely create and embed the stuff to do that. I just don't know if this would play automatically. That's the part I don't know, that technical part. Yeah.
Okay.
Rondalyn, do you have any? What was your question, huh?
Yes. So is this more of, or it sounds like you can use this as a website, but you can also use it as a presentation tool. So it's a tool that has dual purposes. Am I understanding that?
Yeah. When I say website, I think like people, well, like kind of like Kelsey's newsletter, you know how you can go to Sig Network and you can pull them up and you kind of scroll. That's this, right? So that's how it's used on the website. Like you could use it as a newsletter. So you just send out the link, they'd click on the link and they could scroll through it, unless Stacy figures out how to make it automatically go. And then you could use it as a presentation, kind of like like I would have presented this as like a PowerPoint or, you know, something like that as
So-
well.
So
And
this could be an
when, oh, go ahead.
sorry.
No, now I
So
want.
this is like an alternative to PowerPoint.
It could be, yes, it could be used for that. But some of the differences are multimedia is way easier to embed in here. Like I think videos on PowerPoint, I'm always like, how do I get them to embed? I don't want the YouTube commercials to show, you know, and then you have to render them and then you have to like put them in. And so I think this does a great job embedding videos a little easy. And once it's in. Like there's no, is it going to pop up some other window?
Right.
So, and then also like if you're using two monitors, it all stays on the one monitor, like it doesn't pop out. I don't know if you've ever done that. And like you go to like the video and then you're like, let me find it, drag it over. So I think it does some of those things very well. And again, it's much more visual than a presentation. And that's the strength, I think, too. So like when you do a PowerPoint, like I say, it's like we're used to doing a lot of text, getting a lot of information that way. But now that we have to do ADA, like a lot, like it's like a focus, I'm fine doing short is better for me right now. And so this would be short is better. What I would need to do is just confer the text over an image and just make sure I was really following that. So like that front page with a title that's barely over the picture, I know that that's not ADA, but if it's in the sky, is that okay? Because you can kind of clearly see the contrast. So I would want to dig into some of those things. That scrolling text, so that's in that white. I think that's okay. How fast does that scroll have to be? I don't know. But those are the things I would really investigate now that I work with that.
Okay. Thank
But
you.
yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Greg.
Kelsey, can I ask, you mentioned that you already have our accounts kind of organized as into state teams. Is there something special we need to do? Do we need to go through you when we open up our account to make sure that because I see there are options to like just join for free with your Google account or like join a workspace. So can you talk about how we get through the right connection?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So I can add you to our SIG network license. And there is a free option, but by adding it to our SIG network license, I can add you to the state and you'll have a lot more options with what to work on with Shorthand. So just go ahead and shoot me an email and I'll add your email and you'll get that kind of automated prompt to set up an account through Shorthand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I highly recommend you just right now shoot an email so you don't forget, and play with it. And like I can even see it used for like little things. Like if I was to show somebody what I want to do, and this likes like 5 minutes to throw the stuff in there, and then you'd go in and you could show a coordinator or something like, hey, here's what we did, right? So because it's so visual, and so it would be very easy for those kind of things as well. All right, any other questions I can field for you? I know we're out of time. We appreciate you coming this morning. It's great to see you all. Yeah, go ahead, Rodlin. Oh, turn on your.
I have just one more question. So this is a tool that's at no additional cost to us?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So all we need to do is send our email, Kelsey?
Exactly. Yeah. It's
Okay.
something we just make available for SPDIGs.
Okay.
I'm going to put my email in the chat here so that you can throw that in. Okay, I do need to shut down this meeting so that we can go to our next one. But if you have any other questions, I'm always here to help. I thank you, Sydney. I see Sydney threw hers in too.
Yeah, my email's in the where. I'll be happy to help if there's anything to do. Just send me a chat. Okay, have a great day. Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.